Hello everyone, thank you so much for coming our pitch event number 78. I'm thrilled to arrive to 100, and reach the first milestone, and list is done. So today we have 4 founders coming from Europe. This pitch event is done for founders coming from Europe, North and South America. Today we are all coming from Europe, and our investor guest is coming from Israel. So before introducing all our founders, let me remind you that you can come just applying to pitch at EquityMatch-Europe. We are more than happy to welcome you to pitch in our pitch events. We stream on YouTube, LinkedIn, and Facebook. So we go live. We are now live. You can find all our pitch events on our YouTube channel as well. Just subscribe and go. So without taking any, one more thing. If you want to raise any questions, just write them and we bring to our founders. As I'm not taking any more time, I'm introducing our investor guest, Erez Lahab. Erez, thank you so much for coming. And if you want to give introduction to yourself, please.
Sure. Hello, everyone. Thank you, Max and Equity Match, for having me. So my name is Erez Lahab. I'm based out of Tel Aviv. I'm from In Capital Ventures. A few words about In Capital. So we are a global fund with offices in Tel Aviv, in Toronto, and in the US as well. We are investing in B2B startup companies across verticals, software, typically also hardware, but at least we need to see software as the main component of our investment. About my background a little bit, so I started my path more in the tech area. I was an officer in the IDF in a tech intelligence unit, then spent some time in tech companies. Then at some point I moved towards the entrepreneurship area. I had my own companies, 2 companies, which I bootstrapped to acquisition, one in the e-commerce space, and another one is more related to BI systems for brick and mortar businesses. I spent a total of 10 years out of Israel, 5 years in the States, and then 5 years in Central America. So again, a lot of experience in global markets. I'm already 3 years in capital, and happy to be here.
Thank you so much, Erez. So let me go to our first founder, Stonia Thorand, Head of Business Development at Deep LS, Berlin, Germany. Biotechnology research, pre-seed around 1.2 million euros. How's it going, Stonia?
I'm fine, thank you very much.
Please, if you want to give introduction to yourself, and after go straight to pitch. Thank you.
So, hello, first of all, my name is Stonia. I'm a biochemist and a data scientist with a background in structural biology. Within my experience, I saw the urgent need to improve the drug discovery process for the pharmaceutical industry. And our startup DeepLS offers a software to generate completely new drug candidates with the help of generative AI. Unlike the current state-of-the-art screening methods, we are not limited to databases and can use the whole chemical space to deliver an intelligent and an agile solution. So let me introduce my pitch. First of all, thank you very much for attending. Today, I'm going to present our software, which uses generative AI to help the pharmaceutical industry identifying new drug candidates. Why is it so important? Over 600,000 people die every year only in Germany. And this is due to diseases such as cardiovascular disease, cancer, and diseases in the respiratory system. The fact that we do have some medications against these diseases is due to scientists such as Lisa. Lisa undergoes a very costly and time-consuming process, which is called the drug discovery process. At the end of the process, she will, of course, generate a drug. The problem is that one drug currently costs $2.5 billion and takes up 10 to 15 years in development. I'm going to shortly explain some steps that she has to undergo within the process. So let's assume Lisa finds a protein which is very promising and associated with the disease. She then has to go through a very big database of small chemical molecules and find one molecule that binds to a specific space within the protein and which also has a pharmaceutical effect. If all these conditions occur, it makes the small chemical molecule a possible drug candidate. at the end or after further analysis and at the end of the process, we can change the possible drug candidate to a medicine. So these drugs consisting of small chemical molecules make up 90% of all drugs available on the current market. The problem is, if Lisa finds a new protein she's interested in, and she has to look through all the databases again, she might not find a match within the database, and which makes the target automatically undruggable. We want to bypass these limitations that Lisa has to endure with our generative AI-based software. Here, she can implement the 3D structure of the protein she's interested in and define some characteristics such as solubility or toxicity. At the end, she will get a completely newly generated small molecule that not only fits perfectly to the protein she's interested in, but also meets all the characteristics she predefined. She then afterwards can use the structure for further analysis within the process. With our approach, we currently address the middle part of the drug discovery process, which currently takes around 5 years. Genesis reduced it by more than 3 years, which is an equal of a time saving of 75%. The AI and drug discovery market is growing fastly, with over 40% of growth every year. The current market value is expected to be $1.5 billion, and as we are a niche part of it, we cover the generative AI and drug discovery, which is $109 million, which is huge if you compare it to how young this approach is. In total, there are 500 to 800 companies working on AI and drug discovery. Only a fraction is working on small molecules. Globally, there are in total 20 companies who are focusing on de novo design within small molecules for the drug discovery process. We charge $10,000 per molecule per small per protein per small molecule, and we are expected to have a revenue of $5 million within the next 2 years. I'm very happy to announce that we recently also have an IP with a partnership, and we have our own share. I know we have an ambitious goal, but we have a team with a relevant expertise. We have a bioinformatician, a bioscientist, we have an expert in data science and an expert in business administration. We are always looking for friendly customers, advisors, partners, and of course, investors. We are currently looking for an investment of 1.2 million euros to cover our personnel costs to grow. Thank you very much for listening. If you have any further questions, please let me know.
Thank you so much, Stonia. Harris, I leave everything to you.
Thank you, Stonia, for the pitch. Very interesting. Obviously, as far as the product, there's no advice I can tell you or say anything. I believe and I understand everything that you say. But I want to ask some questions. First one about the AI component or AI approach. So these days, as you know, there is no deck without AI. And I want to understand from your perspective, first, if you have an AI expert in the team, and also if AI really helps you with the process, with the product, or this is something that can be done with any other algorithm, if-else type algorithm.
So yeah, of course, we have an expert. It's one of the co-founders, the Felix. He has 14 years of experience as a data scientist and has a very well knowledge in AI. The importance of AI here is that it's all based on rules which are based in biology and physics, because all the interactions between the protein are based on physical dependencies, and it's all calculatable. It's all within the math. And AI is the part to cover mathematical approaches. So it's not just something to do, because the current state of the art methods that I mentioned are screening. Here they are doing mass experiments within an approach of try and error. So the error rate is extremely high, and they're using a lot of plastic, a lot of one-use plastic, which is also not environment friendly. And I have like a picture. If you want to find a needle within a hay field, but if you're intelligent and you use a magnet, you can get the needle without searching through everything. And this is exactly the approach we are using. We are taking all the mathematical background that these interactions are based on, and use it in the AI, because now we have the capacity and the methods to use it in an intelligent way to improve the process without losing any precision, without losing any efficiency.
Okay, thank you. I have another question more around the product and approach. So by you shortening the time, the life cycle of the process, is there any disadvantage of doing it? Are there any corners that you need to cut in the process? Because it's a significant shortcut, like years-wise, term-wise.
Disadvantage in a way, maybe it has to be implemented in the process yet, so this might take a while, but the effect is only positive because as I mentioned before, it's based on experience, and if you can experiment and if you can reduce a part of experiments with an AI approach, you don't elaborate everything. So we just take a small part to give an indication what we could work with the next step, and then the next step we still have the chemical and biological validation. So at the end we cannot produce something false, we just shortened the searching time.
Okay. One more question is about, I didn't see in the presentation anything about the go-to-market. Maybe I missed it, I'm not sure, but if you can elaborate more, I think this is a major piece of everything.
So we can, as we offer our software, we can work globally. We, of course, what was, can you precise the question? Maybe I understood.
Yes, sure. The go-to-market. So how do you, how will you eventually get your customers, or still getting leads for, how do you build your marketing go-to-market plan?
Yeah, so our goal is to provide to our customer the software that they can use, and we can offer them the newly generated molecules. And
how would you acquire customers, directly or through channels, or what's your strategy of how do you get the customers?
Well, the customers are currently mainly the pharmaceutical industry, and we are now trying to get into the market via interactions, connections, and network. That's the first part. Afterwards, if we have some revenue, if we have some projects that can show our workspace, people can approach us in each way.
Okay, great. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Sonia. Stay, don't go. Thank you, Alex. We'll bring you back later. And I'm moving to founder number 2, Marco Pari, co-founder Neurality. Neurality is based in Rimini, Italy. It's a good place to go for holiday, vacation. Smart manufacturing industrial, seed around 600K, left or 1 or 1.2 million around. Marco will be more precise on this. Marco, thank you so much for coming. If you want to give, please, a short intro to yourself, and after I go straight to the page. Thank you.
Sure. Thank you very much for having me. My name is Marco Pari. My background is in software engineering. I had my degrees in the University of Bologna, and I spent the very few years of my career as an employee in the field of computer vision. So understanding via computer programs what's the residual information inside images, and leverage this information for creating smart processes, basically. We founded Neurality because we found out that a lot of the visual inspections of products inside companies nowadays are still manually inspected. So there still is a large portion of industries that relies on technical experts to simply look at items or transformation of items and decide based on their experience if the item is compliant to the quality standard of the company they're working for or not. This kind of labor is time-consuming and absolutely subjective. We have decided to release on the market an AI platform that relieves these pains in the companies through a fast and flexible AI platform. We have a paradigm that is different from our competitors, is we don't have to learn how the defects are on the products, but through simple images, we are able to understand what's the compliant product that the company wants to produce, perform a simple training that requires up to a couple of minutes, and from there we have a results like the one shown in the slide on the right hand side. We have a color map that shows in blue whatever is compliant, whatever is okay, is within the standard of quality that we learn from. And then we have this gradient that goes up to red to highlight whatever there is an anomaly, a defect. This way we know exactly where and how big are and the severity of all the defects in any product directly on the production line. We have applied this kind of reasoning already in big players all around Italy, and even on a customer that we have in Switzerland. One of our customers is Mutia, a famous tomato sauce producer, but we also have worked in the wood sorting industry and also on fabric, just to showcase how flexible and horizontal the problem that we are solving is. In general, these are the KPIs that we are reaching inside manufacturing, up to a 70% reduction in processing time and increase in accuracy if compared to human operators. The market that we are targeting is huge and calculated based on the cost of poor quality. So how much costs to company to build effective products. And given the competitor analysis, we have a huge level up compared to these companies, because we are not only with higher, we are more robust and more flexible to standard computer vision techniques, but we are also really, really easy to use because we do not require to see defects, like I mentioned, and we are also agnostic to acquisition hardware. So whenever there are cameras, any kind of cameras, even X-ray, we are able to leverage these images and find defects in the production line. This is our current revenue model. We require a license fee, which is our main source of income, to use the service of image analysis that we are providing, but there is also a one-time fee to customize our solution to specific needs of the clients. We are targeting two main customers: machinery manufacturers and final user. And this is the team. Me and Michele are the co-founder, and we have also a large network of mentors, but we are also expanding the team. We expect to hire two main technical figure in the following year. But the startup is still mainly owned by the two co-founders, Michele and I. This is our current client portfolio, and we are looking for 1 million euro, like it was specified before. 400K is already secured by Cassa Depositi e Prestiti, the public investment fund in Italy. And so we are looking for a lead investor for 600K to further improve our product and vertically specialize it in the fabric manufacturing industry. And I hope everything that's clear. If you have any question, I'm here for you. Thank you.
Thank you, Marco. I leave all the questions towards.
Thank you, Marco. First, indeed, Rimini is a great place. Now about the pitch. So my question first is about your, what caught my eyes, that you have already some agreements with Muti and another company. What's the nature of these agreements? Is it a paid POC? Is it a POC like free trial and then supposed to go into a commercial agreement? Can you elaborate, please?
Yeah, sure. All the customers that I showcased have either paid for a POC. So we don't do usually free POC. So we are paid to implement a temporary solution on the production line and showcase the performance that we can achieve on different situations. Some of the clients are already converted to recurrent revenue. So specifically, Mutti and Sacmi, two huge Italian company, are providing recurrent revenues for leveraging our solution inside their operational environment.
Okay, that's good. Another question is about, I've seen some different solutions from different angles approaching the manufacturers to see how they help with computer vision, and it's very good that you are agnostic to the cameras and type of hardware, which is a very significant barrier. And my question is, today, from what you see when you approach manufacturers or talk to people, are they already equipped with any type of solution, or is it completely greenfield and you're just approaching with, are they replacing anything? What they're doing today?
The vast majority of our customers do not have the proper acquisition system in place. When they do, it's for like internal reporting, so it's not something that can be used to implement image analysis solution. So we typically replace or provide directly the acquisition system in a way that we are the only player that the companies talk to when in need to automate a visual inspection task. Part of this situation is due to the fact that we are mainly tackling big challenges. So we are tackling fields where usually a human operator operates. So there are no cameras, there are just an army of people that look through the same items day by day.
Yes, and this is another challenge that I'm curious to know how you resolve, because you work across different manufacturers. One can be for apples or tomatoes or whatever, any other product. So you need some time to kind of learn the data, right? And implement the models for each one of them. It takes time. They're tolerate to this. How long it takes usually until you start bringing actually value to these customers?
Thank you very much for the question, because actually this is a huge advantage that we have on competitors, because the base of our solution is 99% always the same, regardless of the material or product that we are going to inspect, because the basic operation that we are performing is always the same. We look at products or materials, we learn what's the standard of quality, and then we highlight the differences in the production line between what we are seeing and what we learn from. So if we are looking at tomatoes, if we are looking at bottles, if we are looking at wood panels, it doesn't change the reasoning and the software behind it. That's why we have a really, really fast implementation phase. The only thing that changes is the camera system. So we have to implement different kind of camera and lighting if we have to look at metals, for example, because it's shiny, or wood or dark plastic, and that requires a little more time. But once we have some samples and we can do some tests, it takes on top a month of implementation. So our internal man days or man hour is really, really low.
Okay, great. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, Marco. So stay, don't go. We are all back soon. We will move into founder number 3, and Nate Robinson, founder and CEO, LunaMicro AB, Linköping. I hope I'm pronouncing well, Sweden. Smart textile wellness, Sportech, Medtech, late seed 600K in euros. How's it going, Nate?
Thank you. My
Thank you
name's
so much.
Nate Robinson, as you heard. I'm an American. I've lived in Sweden for over 20 years. I graduated from Cornell University with a PhD in chemical engineering, primarily fluid dynamics. I worked at Intel company for a couple of years, and then I moved to Sweden and worked my way up through the university system until I became a professor in organic electronics. And in that process, I patented several things. And this was an invention, or what I'm going to present to you today is an invention that was enough for me to hop off the academic career and try out being an entrepreneur. And it has to do with moisture management in textiles. So if we talk about technical solutions to moisture management in textiles, most people are familiar with Gore. They kind of invented the space 50 years ago. Gore-Tex, a passive membrane based on fluorinated polymer, came out and revolutionized the market. And Gore, just to give you an idea, Gore nets about $3 billion a year in just clothing, medical applications, and electronics today. However, since then, we figured out that the material that Gore-Tex is based on, PTFE, is really toxic for both people and the environment. It's a mess. So it's being banned in the US, and it will probably be banned in Europe. Europe moves slower than the US in many cases, and this is one of those. Similarly, even if you don't use fluorinated polymers in a passive membrane, they're still not recyclable because we've laminated together different kinds of plastic, and they can't be separated again. So every year we throw away, bury or burn about 1 million tons of just rain jackets every year. And this is a mess. So of course, we want to fix that. What do? Well, the technology we patented from my research group at Linköping University is a fluidic pump in textile. So what we do, we print conducting polymer electrodes on 2 pieces of fabric, laminate them together on opposite sides of a microporous membrane. And when we attach a small battery between those electrodes, we can drive water straight up through the fabric. That's what you see in the movie that I'm showing you here. This is a fabric pump sucking water out of a sponge. It's quick, it's easily seen. And then we can take this pump, usually it's about the size of an A4 sheet of paper, and we stick it in a jacket or a sleeping bag. The military has shown interest in applications that I'll present to you in a minute. Workwear is also very important, particularly protective equipment, and it's a huge market. We're talking what we can address, or what we can obtain, is readily over €5 billion a year. 2 areas in which we have a lot of traction. The first is protective equipment, in this case, particularly for high pressure washer systems. These are industrial processes. It's not what we use to wash a car in the driveway. This is what professionals are using to clean out industrial reactors and the like. And if you're not careful, you could cut your arm off or really hurt your foot with this. So they wear something, a suit that's basically Kevlar everywhere. It doesn't breathe, as they say in the industry. That means breathing means letting water vapor out through evaporation or through a diffusion process. So what we do is we take this suit that they've made today, and we put a patch in the back and install our pump and put a slit in, and we can remove the water, remove the sweat from the person who's working this hard. Similarly, the military in Sweden hired us to do a study for use underneath body armor. They're upgrading the body armor in Sweden, and they have found that their soldiers and the police already get too warm when they have it on. So we've created a proof of concept garment where we can pull moisture away from the body and drive it down through the tubes. You see a couple black tubes in this figure, so that the sweat can actually go somewhere where it can evaporate and cool the person off. We are very interested in sustainability. Aside from improving the quality of the garments, our focus is on making garments better. And as I said before, we can make them recyclable. How we do that is by putting the water management into a patch that's about the size of an A4 sheet of paper. We can make the rest of the garment out of something that's recyclable or natural rubber, polyester, which is highly recyclable. And that, in that case, 80–90% of the garment is fully recyclable. So after 15 years or so using the garment, we can actually do something with it instead of just burning it or burying it. Similarly, we eliminate the need for the use of PFAS and other harmful materials that you find in today's products. We are a B2B company. We work with the leaders in various industries, outdoor clothing and the like. And initially we sell them pumps, and we sell them projects to help them understand how to create a product based on our technology. For this is very new for them. But in the long term, our pumps are easy to make, and there's no reason they can't be made in line with their current production processes. So we take advantage of that, and we sell them a license to produce our product and to sell our product. We have a strong team. I'm based in Linköping, but most of our team is in Borås, Sweden, which is the textile center in Sweden. And we have a strong support from the Swedish innovation system. We're looking to raise about 600,000 euro up to 1 million, and that'll take us through and put our products on the market. As I said, we have products in that pathway already, and we'd like to finish the job. And it's a very good time to do this. We're ready to go to market, and the rest of the world is eliminating our competition for us. Thank you for your attention. I'd be happy to answer questions.
Thank you so much, Nate. Alice, please.
Nate, hi, thank you very much.
Hey.
Very impressive product. Also very deep in the technology, as far as I can tell. And I wanted to ask you about use cases that are, because I saw the one about the army. Do you have more use cases related to commercial, just enterprise type of, which are not like security wise?
We basically have two types of products we put our pumps into. One is where there's a shell. So if you think your ski jacket, the outside part of the ski jacket. You're from Israel. You're not ski that much, but the outside part where the pump is at the outside, and then it's easy to pump the water out, and because we get it out and it can run right down. I have a jacket here. This is a Patagonia jacket. We stick a pump on the inside.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
We put a pump on the inside of the jacket, cut a little slit in the back so the water can run out, and we put some, this white thing you see here is a bit of a spacer. So when I have a backpack on my back, that it doesn't close up this. And when we're running the pump, the water runs out the back. Yeah. Then we have cases where we can't get to the outside, like the bulletproof vest. And there are a lot of cases like this. And in that case, we have to build some kind of channel where we can pump the water away and take it to another place. So from the military's perspective, they're interested in both this shell type of system. For example, they paid us to investigate sleeping bags. Apparently they have problems with soldiers going to climbing into this sack with wet clothes, and they wake up freezing cold and soaking wet and have a rough night. And so we've put this in a climate chamber and shown that we can dry socks and in theory make the guy's day better.
Right. And another question: how does it feel like? Is it heavy or light? Like comfortable? What's
the pump is very much like a three-layer Gore-Tex. It's very thin, and 90% of the weight of the pump is the material we put on the outside and the inside, which is chosen by our customer. So if you have a heavy-duty application like the PPE I showed you previously, then we need a thick material. We might need a thick material. I'm working with a company in Switzerland right now that makes very lightweight running jackets. So we're trying to make this as thin as we can. Then we have a battery, and the choice of the battery, it depends on how long you want it to run between charges. If you want it to go a week, we need a battery that weighs about half as much as your phone. If you're okay with a day, we can go much smaller.
Okay, gotcha. And how about competition? Are there any companies operating in your area?
There are two types of competition. We have one that makes electro-osmotic pumps like ours in Switzerland. Their name is Osmotex. And the difference between our product and theirs is the electrode. Ours is much thinner and more flexible, so it feels like fabric. Theirs is stiff and heavy and relatively warm. At least that's what our customers tell us. They've tried them both. And then there's all the passive membranes. There are dozens of them out there. Gore-Tex is the most familiar one, the one that had the biggest breakthrough commercially. But as I said, the PTFE and Gore-Tex is being banned in many markets, and the alternatives don't breathe as well. Breathe is the passive moisture transport that lets moisture out of the jacket. So the whole industry right now is forced to choose between an inferior solution or trying something that's a bit risky and new but works much better, and that's where we've positioned ourselves.
Okay, yeah, I think it's very interesting, and I would, just from our perspective, because we see a lot of, from our portfolio companies, and one thing that a lot of startups, they're not aware of, future exits and acquisitions starts with, I would call it like small or minimum flirting with potential companies acquired in the future. So just in this case, if I could give a small advice, start talking to Gore-Tex, these kind of companies, maybe a good, preparation for future stuff to come. So
we're already there.
Okay.
Thank you. It's very good advice.
No problem. So, okay, but thank you very much. Very impressive.
Thank you. Nate, we have one question, and we're bringing the question from Lakshmi Decker. So I will bring just here, and maybe if you want to give 50 seconds of your answer, it's possible to use a scanning system. No, sorry, this is for Marco. So, Marco, I'll give you 30 seconds because we need to move to the funder. If you want to answer this.
In general, to answer this kind of question, we need to inspect more of the element that we are talking about. But in general, the requirement is simply one. If we can create an acquisition system that acquires images of garment, in this case, and on one images there is a compliant product, and on another one with a defective one or a sharp object, an operator will be able to see the difference and discriminate which is compliant and which is not. If the answer is yes, we can do it as well.
Thank you, Marco. Look, Nate, thank you so much. Stay there. Don't go. We're all back soon. I'm moving to our last, but of course not the least, founders, and not one. We have two of them. And let me introduce the most challenging name I'm getting now. Ievgenii Tsokalo. Yeah, if I'm wrong, I'm very sorry. Co-founder and CEO of Mimetik. Merve, Sefunç, co-founder and CTO of Mimetik. Guys, if you want to give a short intro to yourself, and after one of you, please pitch. Thank you.
Great, thank you very much. Maybe I start since Ievgenii will continue with the presentation. So I'm Merve Sefunç. You pronounce it pretty well, thanks a lot. Originally from Turkey, that's also where I had my studies until basically end of master's degree, and also worked as a system design engineer at one of the largest companies of Turkey. Later then moved to Germany for my PhD, and after successfully finalizing it, I started to work at an excellence cluster where we met together with Genia and came up with this idea and started the company together.
Great. I'm Ievgenii Tsokalo, originally from Ukraine. This is where I got my master in electronics. Then I moved to Germany to pursue a PhD in the area of communication networks, which I finished successfully. And then I stayed longer at university in the role of the group lead in the area of robotics industrial networks. So thank you. I will start with the presentation. So our company, Mimetik, is a glove company. We have AI gloves completely designed and manufactured by Mimetik, and we use them to revolutionize manufacturing. Our customers produce cars, buses, bicycles, and they have a lot of manual operations in assembly area. And guess what? People make mistakes. Historically, the production quality has been improved through the better qualification of people. And this is a great misconception, because majority of mistakes happen just because due to temporary loss of attention. And indeed, it's very human to make mistakes because of our emotions and tiredness. Mimetik tackles this problem with 24/7 assistance of assembly workers. We basically help people to overcome problems where the human nature fails. And it helps to decrease product wastage and reduce downtime in production lines. How we do this? We offer software services in a bundle with this hardware. These gloves are simple and yet genius. There is no other glove in the world with electronics inside that can withstand mechanical stress for the continuous usage on the shop floor. It also implements user-friendly hygiene concept. The gloves measure motion. For this purpose, they have motion sensors in every finger and also in the handbag. The data from sensors is sent wirelessly over Wi-Fi to a backend server, where we use patented sensor fusion to calculate orientation. And this data is used by artificial intelligence to understand what people are doing currently. And this is what they are doing in manufacturing: fixating, drilling, gluing. Our AI can understand these classes, and of course, we can measure the duration of these actions. This is a base technology that is used in a bundle with different services that we offer to the customers, with a central part about the quality, real-time detection of human mistakes. We also improve the efficiency of workplaces and help to scale the training. If we look at the positioning of the market, we basically tackle the emerging market that is populated with very well-funded startups. Such companies as Tulip, Drishti, and Visibility AI have similar value proposition, but they use different hardware. They use optical sensors. And this is where they lose in several categories. They require quite big investment in infrastructure, and it is hard for them to achieve 100% coverage of the shop floor. Now, if you think about traction, I'm very proud to announce that we recently closed a deal with the company Milo. This is a bicycle manufacturing. We also had several pilot projects, including the manufacturer of Mercedes buses. And our lead market is evaluated as 20 million of annual contract value. Last but not least, we are very well in public funding. We basically add €1 of public funding to every equity investment euro. Looking at the way how we're going to sell our product, I made a calculation for the statistically average user, and that is going to buy 490 users subscriptions. In this case, we will charge the deployment fee of 1.7 thousand and a yearly subscription of 5.5 thousand. With this pricing, we achieve remarkably low return of investment period in this area of 4 months and a product margin of 95%. We are raising currently 3.5 million euro at 15 million euro pre-money valuation to accelerate market entry, which will be mainly used for commercialization and setup of the serial production. In 2028, we're going to reach revenue of 209 million euro, and our major costs will be in production, because every assembly worker should have Mimetik gloves. Thank you.
Thank you, guys. Thank you so much. Aris, please.
Okay, thank you, Ievgenii. Thank you, Merve, for the pitch. Very interesting. And my first question is about the value proposition or the benefit of working with these gloves. So, what's important for your customers? For example, with these bicycle companies, manufacturers, what they want to know? Like, I mean, how does it help them to know how much time someone is drilling or fixing something? Or can you tell more about the value of this?
Yeah, an example of the company Milo, bicycle manufacturer, they have to structure their production in a better way, meaning that they have many bottlenecks that they don't know about. And we basically pointing out what to optimize. We help them to decide how to make serial production.
Mm-hmm. Okay. So it gives them more visibility to the, let's say, to the tasks, more practically to know where the time is spent. Okay.
Right.
And practically, because lots of the tasks are being done need to be precise and kind of type of work that they need their hands very, to feel comfortable with how they work with the manual work. So how the gloves built for this? Like they're comfortable, they're light. If you can tell more about this.
Merve, would you like?
Okay, I could unmute myself. Great. So of course, that is in the core of our product development. This is also separating us from other glove manufacturing companies. That from one side, we consider the hygiene concept, where our product basically in two parts, that you can remove the below part that is usually worn out or dirty and keep the electronics part. So this is basically providing a lot of flexibility to us and also sustainability, considering the material saving. And regarding how the glove is comfortable, so far several months passed, basically different workers have been using our product during their assembly work, and our experience so far, we didn't receive any complaints from them. There are few comments, of course. We are working on them. You probably saw in the slide there were two different versions. The current version is currently used on the production lines, and the next version will be much leaner and much more light.
Okay. Another question, I noticed that the customer acquisition cost you assume is going to be 33K. How did you make this assumption? Based on what?
Yeah, we made the assumption based on actual process of acquiring customers. So including all the costs that are required for sourcing leads and making all the stages of negotiation. I think that is curious how it is possible to have quite a low customer acquisition cost for these LTV. And this is because our customers normally would buy quite big amount of seats. So basically, we will have them go to market in the sense that we acquire in first place several big customers and make rollout in terms of number of users and also upselling services, which is of course much easier than getting a new customer.
Okay. Another point is, I'm not sure if you do it today, but if you charge your charging model, business model is a flat fee like a subscription, or it's also based on the number of gloves deployed?
We have the deployment fee that is per user. It includes a particular overhead, like 10% of malfunctioning gloves per year. And we have the software subscription fee that is different dependent what exactly a customer buys. I showed the number of 5,500. This is a bundle of efficiency, real-time assistance, and training. And it's also per user.
Okay, that's great. I would consider in the future because startups at this stage, it's good. They tend to test a lot of different charging models. So I would consider, even in some cases, if there is a big customer, to consider like a flat subscription fee plus based on volume, like it's a SaaS plus usage. So more they grow, they deployed more. I mean, for you to have, because this type of business, your customers is very sticky. So the LTV is long. So manufacturers, they don't tend to change this type of solutions every day. So if you wave on the one time and just move it into a volume-based, usage-based for the long run, I think that your company will be worth and valued more, and also you make more money, which is also important. So
thank you for recommendation.
Sure. And another thing in the slide of the revenue, so you mentioned 209 million euro revenue in 2028, which is great, but I would try to focus at least in the next 1 or 2 years, just to show something more tangible, because you know it as well that things are very dynamic and change so quickly, and at this stage, so looking 4 years ahead, almost 5 years, is very hard for investors.
Sure. Thanks.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, Ares. Thank you, Merve, Ievgenii. Please, guys, you stay, because we're bringing now all our founders. And we'll give you 20 seconds now Ievgenii, Merve, one of you, please, 20 seconds of elevator pitch, convincing Erez and all the investors watching the speech even today to invest in your company, of course, yourself.
This is exactly the right time to get investment. We have got several interested customers, the big clients like Timely Buses, already with pilot projects, and we have converted a smaller customer, Milo, with improving the first traction. So basically, now is the best time to get much equity for little money.
Thank you. Marco.
Sure. We are trying to productize more our solution. We found out that the fashion industry, which is really, really strong in Italy, especially the fabric production, still relies on armies of people. People that we can empower without the boredom that they're working with right now. So much of the funding that we're looking for is headed in this direction, but we need to hire more people because we have actually more work to do than the current force that we have. So now is the right time.
Thank you, Marco. Nate?
Hey. So LunaMicro is at the cusp of going from a technology development company to a marketing company, and that's why we're looking for investment now. We have incredible timing between making that transition and the market not only accepting our solution, but also being forced to make a change in what they use in terms of moisture management and textiles. So we have a fantastic opportunity to be the next dominant player in this market.
Thank you, Nate. Stonia.
Can you see me? Yeah, okay. So the pandemics like Corona showed us very profoundly how important it is to react quickly to our environment, and the software Genesis from DeepLS uses generative AI to facilitate the process of identifying new drug candidates, which is based on biological and physical laws.
Thank you so much, Stonia. We don't have any more questions coming from our audience. So for this week, we are done. Thank you so much, Ievgenii, Merve, Erez, Nate, Marco, and Stonia. It's been
Thank you
absolutely
Thank you, everybody.
Thank you very
Thank
much.
you.
Thank you.
Thank you so all our audience. I'll see you next week.
Thank you very much.
We have funders coming from all over the world, and we are proxy to the weekend, so have a good weekend to all of you. Thank you.
Thanks, goodbye.
Bye.
Thank you.
Have a great day.
Thank you.